everybody, Cori here. So I am here to share with you some of the books that I would like to read during the month of May. Now I had a really good reading month in April, but I felt kind of all over the place. I felt slumpy at times, but other times I was just reading for hours a day, and I feel like I need to like kind of calm down, get back to basics, and set myself a little TBR for the month of May. Now I'm not officially participating in any readathons this month, but the Asian readathon is happening this month, which I'll link to down below. I won't be doing a TBR for it, but I am going to be reading one book by an Asian author. So I have 6 books to share with you, so let's just get into it. The first one is a book I have already started and I'm about halfway done, and that is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin. This is one of my most anticipated books of the year, and I'm happy to report that I'm absolutely loving it. I have the audiobook from my library. I've really been leaning on audiobooks lately. I've been having a bit of a hard time focusing on physical reading, just kind of losing my train of thought. So audiobooks have been really helping me out, and I'm lucky enough to have a library that has a fairly good selection. This is a book in which the city of New York has become personified. So each of the 5 boroughs is now a physical human being. It's so unlike anything I have ever read before, but if you've ever read N.K. Jemisin, you know that her writing is just fantastic, and I was absolutely sold as soon as I started reading this. At the beginning you meet our main character, not a main character, one of the main characters named Manny, who is the island of Manhattan. Sounds weird, it is weird, but it's also just so unique. It's so diverse and inclusive, and has so many important discussions being had in here, and I am just absolutely loving it. Halfway done, can't wait to finish it off. Next up I have an ARC, and that is Forest of Souls by Lori M. Lee. This says it's set to publish in June. I'm not sure if that's still true or not. That could have changed by now. A lot of publication dates are moving, but this is a book I'm very excited to read. So this follows a girl named Saoirse who grew up training to be the Queen's next royal spy, and then one day something happens and her best friend gets killed, and she somehow brings him back to life, and I think the story kind of takes off from there. I don't want to read too much into it, but it sounds like something really cool. I feel like it's one I'm gonna speed through. I picked this one because I'm gonna read it physically because it's not out yet. I just feel like it's one that's gonna be able to hold my attention, and I've had it sitting on my TBR for a while now, so I'm super excited to read it. Next up I have War Girls by Toni Onyebuchi. I've read Beast Made of Might by them, and I quite enjoyed the writing of it, but I wanted to find something else by them to check out. So this is set in a post-apocalyptic Nigeria in the year 2172 and follows 2 sisters in a country that is plagued by violence and war and political unrest, and they dream of like a peaceful future, and they will basically willing to do anything to get there is, I think, the synopsis. And I'm really excited to read this. I know it has roots in actual Nigerian history, and I'm very curious to find out more. Yeah, it's one that I think that I'm really gonna like, and I think it's gonna be a very powerful read. Next up I have Me Talk Pretty One Day by David Sedaris. Now I have never read any David Sedaris, although Sally has been recommending his books for years. I found this one used a few months ago, so I knew I had to pick it up. And my audiobook from the library just came through, so I'm gonna be picking up this within the next couple weeks. And I believe this is a series of, it's non-fiction about his life moving from Paris to New York, I believe. And I think it's just a series of essays and stories about his life. I know nothing about his work except that he's exceptionally funny, so I'm very thrilled to jump into this one, and I think it's probably gonna start me on a reading binge of more of his work. Next up I have Such a Fun Age by Kiley, Reid. This is a contemporary novel set in New York City about a young Black woman who is the babysitter for an affluent white woman, and I believe the situation takes place in which the main character is accused of kidnapping this white lady's children, and it kind of explodes on social media, I believe. And I think it has all sorts of conversations about race and gender and equality and trying to do the right thing but maybe for the wrong reason. Super curious about it. I've heard very, very good things, and again, it's coming to me from my library, so I'm excited to check it out. Last up, I have My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. This, I know, is a very dark and harrowing book, but it is about a grown woman who, when she was a 15-year-old in high school, formed a relationship with her 42-year-old male teacher. And how that part of her life she felt was very formative and very important to her and didn't feel wrong in any way. And then we kind of fast forward into her adulthood, where there are now accusations against this man of grooming young girls. And her, the main character, kind of coming to terms with the fact that what happened to her as a child was wrong, when at the time it didn't feel wrong at all. I think this is a story that's going to be heartbreakingly, not relatable, but understandable, and just how much this happens in our society and how young girls are not told it's wrong necessarily, and that they're being taken advantage of. I think it's going to be a very hard read, a very difficult read. Hard and difficult are synonyms, but you know what I mean. I think there's going to be a lot to unpack in this novel. I am excited to read it, but I am, you know, going to take it slow. I think it's another library book. Have a couple weeks to get through it. Yeah, needless to say, actually, I think every single book except for Forest of Souls I've talked about today are adult novels, so be aware of that. There's probably going to be some darker content in some of these, so just be aware that all of these books except for Forest of Souls are adult novels. So I don't want to encourage people who maybe aren't ready for these novels or are sensitive to some content. Maybe just do some research before you pick them up, because I definitely don't want to be recommending things that are going to be harmful for people. All right. So those are some of the books I plan to read in May. I'm very excited about it. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if you're excited about any of them, and if you like this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos every week. Happy reading, and thanks for being awesome. Bye!